Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinesky. Today we have the great fortune of being joined by the star of the Compound Solutions Instagram Stories feed, Mr. Justin Hall, formerly of Supplement Snoop fame. Welcome, my friend.
Formerly of Supplement Snoop. Well, I'm just telling you, man, I've been jealous since you got to go to the party. I wasn't invited. So I'm trying to get my way in there, man, but so no, that was really cool, man. They asked me if I'd be willing to sort of do my Q&A over on their page today, and
Yeah.
they just let me roll with it, man. I was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Have you watched any of my stories before?" I mean, because I was like, sometimes I think Robbie said it. We'll get into your podcast with Robbie later too, but I think
Oh no.
Robbie made a comment on the Supplement Snoop group about it. He goes, sometimes I forget I'm just shooting the shit with my friend Robert, and I forget there's all these people are gonna hear it. And I was like, yeah, man, he does that to you. He sets you up. And so when I'm talking on Compound Solutions page, I'm going, shit, you're thinking all the brands and stuff like that actually see that. I was like, man, there was a Redcon question on there. I was like,
Oh
oh,
shit.
I had to deflect the shit out of that one.
Do you remember the question?
Actually, Sprite. So we talked about a setup. I would have thought it was from you. It said, why do you not like Redcon 1 supplements? But I actually answered it honestly. I said but I squirmed my way out of it because I was like, honestly, their supplements is not the problem. I said they have some supplements in their line that especially when you're talking, it's Vitamin Shop and stuff like that. I was
Yeah.
like, it's better options than a lot of stuff. So I
Right.
managed to wiggle my way out of that one.
I mean, if it's between Insane Labs and Redcon, I'm gonna go with Redcon. So
Right, yeah, right, because Redcon, I think they have to have certain standards upheld too, but being in Vitamin Shop and GNC and stuff like that, their
right.
quality is going to be there. Their QC is going to be there. Some of
Yep.
their formulas aren't bad, but I'm not a fan of all things they do.
Correct. Yeah. I'd agree with
Anyway,
that. Also,
yeah, so it's been
I do have good news regarding the Compound Solutions party since you mentioned it. They was talking to Julie over there yesterday, and they secured the same house for this year's party after Supply Side West as they did last year for Vegas. So since you'll be in Vegas this year, I'll work my magic and see if I can secure you an invite.
I appreciate that because you know what I think this year, honestly, I think we'll do Supply Side instead of Olympia.
Good. You should do that because the Olympia, from what I heard, probably from you and several other people, is that it was, a big letdown.
Right, because the good thing about it was we were in Vegas with our friends. That
Right.
had nothing to do with the Olympia. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Never know. Maybe by then we'll be living in Vegas. Jeez, as much has changed over the last year, man. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So yesterday, you and I were texting back and forth, and you said you full scooped Assassin, and the exact quote from the text was "I'm fucked." So why don't you explain to the listeners exactly what transpired after you full scooped Assassin?
Yeah, so that was kind of a dick move on my part. It wasn't. It's not a lie because I was like, man, I got back in the car after the workout. First of all, I'm looking at the full scoop and I'm going, man, am I really just gonna full scoop this? And I was like, well, I kind of backed myself into a corner. I can't half scoop it as much shit as I gave you about it.
See.
So I did full scoop it, and what I was referring to when I finished my workout and I got in the car, I was like, man, I'm fucked because I loved it so much that now what? Now what? Now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna use that every day.
Yep.
I freaking loved that pre-workout, and what I did to Robbie was actually kind of fucked up.
What did you do?
I texted him. I was texting him the same time as you, and I was like, Robbie, I got bad news. I was like, I got to be honest with you. You're my friend. And he texted me back. He's like, oh no. I'm like, what? And I was like, bad news is I don't know if I can go back to regular pre-workouts ever again. He's like, oh my God, man, why would you do that to me? So I had, you know, we'll put the disclaimer out there. Do I recommend everyone go out there and get Assassin? No.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yes.
I do.
We recommend getting it. We do not recommend full scooping it.
Sure. I recommend buying it from a good quality person like Robbie. But again, what happened, it sort of ties into the hooligan thing. You look at the label and you're like, holy cow, it's
Yeah.
intimidating. And then you use it, and there's a difference between when you use something sketchy, high stim, a lot of the, you're combining some of the yohimbines and some of these other things, and you get that ugly, just dirty, make you want to throw up, like artificial heart rate kind of feeling.
Yep.
That is not what I'm feeling with this.
Edge of insanity.
You okay?
Yeah. I just had something tickle in my throat.
No problem. You edit that part out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I was actually, I was at the gym and I'm working out, and actually I had this moment where I was like kind of laughing because the focus and the energy was so great. Like it was so, but not like off the rails. It was so good that I was just like, yeah, this is awesome.
That's good shit, man. It's really awesome.
And what I did do also, I didn't mix it with anything, right? So obviously I was just, so I wanted to see the pumps actually weren't that bad. But I think that's probably a product of just having such a great workout. And like the gym is usually the gym I go to is the temperature is a little higher, and I have a good intra that I mix up. So my pumps are usually good anyway, but, I know people talk about the flavor. The flavor is fine. It wasn't great. It was okay.
It's serviceable.
But I had a blast.
Awesome. Did you? Which flavor did you use?
Thinking about my workout yesterday.
Which flavor did you have? Because I had the pineapple mango one.
I had like was it Rocket Pop? Astro Pop or something like that?
Yeah, that was the other flavor they released.
It's good. It like you taste it at first. You're like, whoa, that tastes like a Rocket Pop, and then you get sort of the back end of the ingredients, and it's not bad though.
No, I mean, for a high-stim pre-workout, you know what you're signing up for regarding flavoring. Exactly. There's only so much you can do to make it taste good.
And let's be serious. If you're using pre-workout like that and you're going to talk to me about flavor, like, fuck
yeah, come on. Oh, and as a teaser, I was talking with Robbie this morning. There is a third flavor of Assassin being released as a Memorial Day limited edition. So there's a little teaser for everybody.
Nice. Yeah, because I got a lot of messages. I won't out the people that message me about this, but needless to say, there's probably some brand owners out there that on their own pages would talk shit maybe about this product. Yeah. But they want to try it.
They want to try it. Ride the beast.
They're like, this is, kind of pushing the limits, but Katie, send me a scoop. I'm like, that's right. So anyway, yeah, it's not for everyone. We know that. Right. But what I would say is I never had any sort of that just ugly, like I was off the rails in any way, shape, or form. Like I was just happy as hell. Like I think it was TJ, Fitness Deal News TJ said he felt like angry. Yeah. Something like that. Like I didn't get that at all. The total opposite. I'm not an angry guy though. Like I'm a happy guy.
No, you're not. You're usually not. I get angry at a certain dose of yohimbine. With a certain dose of caffeine. Mixing those two will make me that aggressiveness. Based off the half scoop that I did when I was recording the podcast with Robbie, I did not find myself aggressive. I mean, it's fast acting and you feel zoned in. Because I told him I was just staring at the little screen. I mean, you get into this little tunnel vision thing, like you're going through like hyperspace or something like that.
So you drank the half scoop on that podcast.
Yeah, and I used it Monday too for a workout on Monday.
At a half scoop?
Yep, that's all I need, man. I don't need the full.
You keep using that N word. That has nothing to do with it. I only probably need a quarter of a scoop, but come on.
There's a reason the walls in my house, outside of a few little things, are mostly bare because I'm not a man of wants. I only have stuff I need, and I don't need shit up on my walls unless it's a picture of an LSU national championship or something like that. I mean,
there you go. And I guess I'm a pretty minimalist guy, so I guess if pre-workout is my thing.
Yeah, that'd be your one indulgence.
So I want to give a big, huge shout out to Robbie for what I listened to you guys' podcast the other day, which, I mean, for me to listen to a podcast and I'm not on it, I mean, that's like unheard of. I'm super egotistical and self-centered like that. Like I only want to hear myself talk. So when I was listening to you guys and it was awesome, but
Yeah.
Robbie said some things on there that you would never hear a company owner talk about. Like to really like put stuff out there. A lot of that stuff is it's true. Kind of you suspect things are true, and Robbie's like, here, this is me. This is what I'm doing. And anytime somebody acts like that, just love that guy. I can't say enough good things. So, but now if I didn't like the pre-workout, I would never be able to lie to him. Like I would have to be honest with him. You know what I mean? Because it wouldn't do him any good. And
Agreed.
I had a great workout with that pre-workout. So it was a fun day yesterday. Good thing we didn't do the podcast yesterday, man.
You're bouncing off
I
the
was on a
walls.
roll. That was a good thing. I actually
Yeah.
wasn't, bouncing off the walls or anything like that. It was just, you would never want to call it subtle,
hmm
but it's probably going to be more subtle than people expect. But it's just, man, you're just freaking locked in, man. So yeah, I had a good time.
Excellent. Do you time your rest periods when you're training, or do you just kind of go based off feel?
Yeah, like yesterday I didn't rest at all because I was.
It just bounced everything.
It's a good question. I think I used to, but at this point, it's just such second nature. I
Mm.
go when I'm ready to go,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Which is, I usually take shorter rest periods than a lot of people, but sometimes I do get mindful, especially maybe if I'm doing a bigger lift, a more compound, heavier kind of lift. I'll take a little bit extra time because I think that's one of my issues when it comes to a lot of things. Sometimes I'm in too much of a hurry to get things done that I sometimes shortchange myself.
hmm
So I've been trying to work on that, actually, taking a little bit more time to just sort of enjoy what I'm doing.
Gotcha. Well, if yesterday was Assassin, which by all accounts is a high stim pre-workout. Did you go low stim, no stim today, or what did you use for today?
I actually did, because I went like a pro,
hmm
pump and focus, which was funny because I was supposed to do that yesterday. That was the other thing about Assassin. I had been on a little streak of using some pretty aggressive pre-workouts, and I'm like, I have, so I have to take a break. And then fucking Assassin shows up in the mailbox, and I was like, shit. And I'm like, well, what's one more day?
Yeah, why not? You got the rest of the week to resensitize yourself.
Yeah, so needless to say, um, it's going to sound bad, but Pump and Focus has a little bit of caffeine in it.
hmm
So I took that today, and then tomorrow will be nothing. Maybe if I do go to the gym, which I'm about to for a day off, it'll be non-stim because it's like that weaning off
Yeah,
process. You can't just go like, it's bad, man.
yeah,
It's
it
terrible. It
could
sounds
rough.
like we're talking about drugs.
No, I mean caffeine is the most popular and widely used drug in the world, so
Amen.
there we could go.
Cheers to that.
I agree. I do love me some caffeine. So, any other
Good time.
goodies land in your inbox this week that you've tried out? Protein powders, post workouts, sleep supplements.
I know. Oh yeah. Um, SteelFit sent me their carnitine. It's like Steel Burn liquid
Yeah, they're
carnitine. It's
liquid
like three.
carnitine. Yeah, 3 grams of Carnipure L-Carnitine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sent me that, which is cool. I think I like what they do. Right, super simple. I
hmm
think I've been using it too, like post workout. A little bit of recovery. I think there's, especially at that dose. I think it was like 20 milligrams per kg. Was they were finding some recovery benefits and then stuff like that. So I think there was that. I think that's about it because I got a bunch of stuff I think last week before we did the podcast, and then I can't remember. It's too much
I
stuff.
gotcha. What did you think of the flavor? Because did you get the blueberry lemonade one? Or is that what it is? Or blueberry? I think that's what it's called. That's the flavor I got.
That sounds about right
Yeah.
because I thought it was good. Um, yeah, because I don't even remember that I looked at what the flavor was,
Yeah.
but it was good. It was tasty. I like it though. I like Carnipure is cool ingredient. You know, it's nothing life changing, but I think anytime you can add a little bit of help with glucose levels and some recovery benefits, then I think that I talked about it on my stories yesterday about how I think that's why weight loss sort of has been seen with carnitine, but not fat loss,
Yeah.
because if you add those couple of things in there, you can understand how that could help someone in a overall healthier lifestyle, but
Hmm.
not exactly burn fat. So I think that kind of makes sense.
Gotcha. Have you experienced any kind of GI distress from carnitine or L-Carnitine supplements at all? As Rob and I, SteelFit Rob and I were talking about this morning, saying that he's heard different accounts of taking too much carnitine could lead to that, and I was combing through some of the literature, and I mean the only thing I could think of is just like any other supplement. You take too high of a dose, and if you're a person that's prone to just having a sensitive GI tract by nature, I think taking a high dose of anything, like citrulline, creatine, betaine, any of that stuff, it's going to make you have to go use the bathroom. I haven't experienced personally any stuff, even going like as too high as 2 grams of acetyl L-carnitine or 3 grams of regular carnitine, 5 grams of betaine. I've never had any issues with that, but I didn't know if I'm just like an iron stomach guy, or what's your experience?
I'm the same way. I don't really ever get that. Sometimes, I feel like the pump, like if some pump products, plus if you use like a really aggressive intra workout product can sometimes, but never anything like, I don't know. I always hear people, they're always talking to me about their digestive problems and stuff, and I just kind of shrug. I'm like,
Yeah,
the hell's wrong? I'm like, what is wrong with everybody? Or people that are like, if they, walk by the dairy section, they fall apart, and I'm just like, damn. I'm like, I don't know what happened to everybody along the way, but we're in rough shape out there with our digestive systems.
yeah, everybody's got a peanut allergy, an egg allergy, lactose sensitivity, scared of gluten. But I guess that's a rant for another day.
Right, and then that's why you see well, it's got digestive enzymes within the whey protein. It's like
Hmm.
if you need digestive enzymes to digest your whey protein, it means your system is messed up. It's like
Yeah,
I don't know. Like we've
yeah.
talked about that a million times. It's like, but that's people. So it's hard for me to talk to people about that because I just don't experience it. So
Right. Yeah, and I'm the same way. I have a hard time relating. I'm not a very sympathetic or empathetic person by nature, and so
you aren't. You really aren't.
I'm really not. It's funny. We're watching Dexter right now, the old
Yes, I
TV
love that
show.
show. I
We're
love
halfway
that show.
through, and there have been, I've lost count uh, of how many times Sandy has turned to me and said, you really kind of remind me of Dexter. Yeah.
Mmm. Wow, that's
Yeah, that
dude, I love that show. I've actually watched it through twice. So this is the first time you've ever seen it?
yeah, we just finished season 4 where Dexter walks
Oh,
in, and yeah,
with John Lithgow?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, that season's so good.
It's really good. It's really, really
Yeah.
good. So I'm not going to spoil the end because I don't know if people. I mean, it's still relatively, recent. I mean, it ended in 2013 and it's been on Netflix for a while. But I don't know. I guess you are with Dexter how I am with Mad Men. I've seen Mad Men through the entire series 2.5 times, just because I love that show. So
Yeah, I watched Dexter when it was out originally, and then
mhm.
I won't say anything, but I wanted to rewatch it again,
Yeah,
and yeah, I actually did not too long ago. It's a great show, man.
it
I'm
is.
excited. Talk to me about it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. Is it a satisfying conclusion to the series? Because a lot of the times I find that TV shows that they're great, and then like the final season they shit the bed on it because they don't know how to wrap it up. So without spoiling anything, is it a satisfying conclusion in your opinion? Uh oh.
No.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, but the journey there is plenty worth it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Well, then I'll have to keep you abreast of the situation.
It's not like but that was the other thing too, because when I watched it before, I was watching it week to week, right? And I was
Hmm.
like, how sometimes like when you binge watch something, it just is better because you're not
Yeah.
sort of coming back to it and then again and then back and forth.
Hmm.
and that's why I sort of binge watched it to see if the ending was different. I will say it was for me the second time around. But there's a lot of great stuff about the show. So it's not like you're gonna get to the end and be like, oh, we just wasted our time. Right? It's not like that.
It's not like Lost, which sucked. The ending of
I
Lost
didn't
was
see that.
horrible. Sandy and I watched it in Netflix back when we were still living in Louisiana. It was, I mean, the first few seasons were great, and then they just they tried to change the storylines and arcs one too many times, and I thought the ending was complete until the last 10 minutes of the final episode. I'm perfectly on board, and then like the last 10 minutes of that thing just completely fucked everything. So
well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how you feel about Dexter.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Do you think? All right, so binging is become more and more popular with people now. How soon do you think it is until we start seeing supplements marketed towards binging Netflix? Where somebody's got to come out with a nootropic that's optimized. So, because obviously, when you binge something, you watch it for so long, but comes a point where you stop remembering all the little minor details. You might understand like the major story arcs, but you miss a lot of things when you watch like 8 hours of TV in a row. So how soon do you think until we see the nootropic Netflix binging supplement where it enhances cognitive recall?
Well, if we don't release ours, then as soon as this podcast ends and somebody hears that, because I mean, what would we call that? Like to improve your TV watching skills,
Yeah.
your binge watch, we'll just call it binge, and you could just make another shitty nootropic kind of formula and
there we go.
sell it on Amazon. Oh man, you just came up with $1 billion idea, and somebody else is gonna steal it.
Trademarked. It's out in the comment area now. So
because you know what I always say, like when we talk about things that happen within the supplement industry, and someone will be like, "Oh, what do you think of this idea?" And I've come to the conclusion that if I think that it's a stupid ass idea, it means it's going to do incredibly well.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is, I don't even want to say it's a bad idea. I think it would end up being a great idea.
Yeah,
that's scary.
$1 billion idea right there. You're welcome, America. You're welcome.
Right. I just want to sit on the couch and be locked into my TV show as much as possible. Dude, I mean, that capitalizes on just everything that we do.
It does.
Yeah. Damn. Blowing my mind, man. That's a good idea. Let's I got a guy. Let me
you got a guy.
Text. I got a guy. Let me text this guy.
You got a couple of guys.
Yeah, let's get on it.
So jumping back to the beginning of the thing, when you're on the compound solutions InstaFace stories, they have a lot of pro keto, anti carb narratives that kind of permeate through their presence. Did you and I are not lockstep with the whole keto thing. We take a more balanced approach to nutrition, and we don't fear carbohydrates. Did you get any questions about keto related stuff? Go BHB salts, MCT oils, any of that kind of stuff?
I did have one person asked about if I could explain Go BHB, and I stopped just short because as I'm explaining it, here's the thing about like ketones and stuff like that. I think, right, you can literally explain your way into why it doesn't make any sense to take exogenous ketones.
Yeah.
Because, right, if you get to that point with your body and your body's creating them on your own, and then you bring them into your body, so you stop your body from making its own.
Yeah.
The whole concept is fucking stupid. So as I'm on Compound Solutions page, and as I'm explaining to this person what it is and what it does, I literally walk you to the answer of why it's just so okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your body makes it itself, but then you're going to take more, which, okay, that's supplementation. That's a lot of supplementation. But the fact that it might sort of derail your body making its own in place of, it's like, why don't you just let your body kind of do its thing? Like, that's already doing it. Like, it's just, it doesn't do it like better, but boy, people are going to be pissed when they hear that. But yeah, that's
I think you just got yourself uninvited to the party now. You just talked your way out of the invite.
I've tried to get on board with keto and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
and I get it that people have used it and they, you know, also it's not a very sustainable practice. Like if you're really disciplined going into it, I think that people can use it maybe in short term or say, you know, cyclically, like if you want to do it for a little while and then go back. But most of the people that try it, I guess that's where I get a little cautious because most people are trying it are just people that struggle with their weight.
Right.
They have a horrible relationship with food and their diet anyway. So then you're going to go in there and pull out an entire beneficial, you know, nutrient for them, which makes things extra confusing when you're shopping. And then all these people can do is just go on the internet and find these keto programs, which might not keep you in ketosis, first of all, and they cost you an arm and a leg, and now they're just sort of feeding into this through lack of wanting to do the research themselves. And so I just think I'm not a fan, you know,
Yeah.
you know that, but I didn't really I didn't get any like questions that, you know, would, you know, really like be controversial or anything like that. I got a lot of really cool questions. So, I mean, if you listened to it, you would have known, but I guess you didn't.
Some of us had real work that needed to be accomplished today, so we can't just spend all of our hours each day on social media. We have to pay the bills around here.
Says who? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, I had to take a break from social media to do a podcast.
There you go. See, you're welcome. I'm letting your brain decompress and spark some new creativity in there.
I know, man. I tell you, good stuff. But yeah, it was a good time, man. We had a blast. I really appreciate them. I got to get back in the good graces after the keto thing. I want my invite next year. So it was really nice of them to do. They, you know, they let me hack into their system and take over their page. That was a lot of trust on their part. So
yeah, now they hopefully they went and changed the password so you can't screw them over and go delete their entire account.
Man, it's messed up, man. But yeah, it was a good time. It was really cool that they did that.
Awesome. Well then, let's embark on our quest down the feed of Stack 3D as we always do each week. We can bypass the first like 8 posts because they're nothing but functional foods.
What about, you don't want to talk about Dymatize and the cereal collaborations? Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles, Dymatize?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few things that there's that OuttenFit formula I think you'll like, and then there's something on page 2 that, man, we're gonna have to talk about. So
yeah, let's go ahead and do the because I don't know this newcomer brand Hustle Supplements. They've got a pre-workout, but that's let's see if they're around in 6 months to a year, and we'll come back and see what's going on.
Got a bunch of call outs.
Yeah, let's do the OuttenFit pre-workout because we've covered them before, and this is their new sleep recovery anti-stress thing. So it's got 500 milligrams of Serenade phosphatidylserine, 300 milligrams of rhodiola. The standardization is not listed on there, which I'd kind of like, but you know, usually they do some pretty decent stuff over there. They've got 50 milligrams of Kana in there as well, so that's another really stout dose, and then 50 milligrams of estrogen.
Yeah, I like it's 3 cool ingredients that I like. The Serenade and Serenade that's pricey.
Yeah, Kana is too, or I guess Kana Ease is. Yeah.
Yep, and rhodiola, depending on standardization, can be not expensive, but yeah. So this one was pretty cool. I think, you know, sometimes when we're talking about stress and cortisol, like what I mean, do you need 14 ingredients? Like if you can just accomplish it with three really good ones, you know. So that's a cool little formula. And he said that when he told me it was going to be flavored powder ice cream sandwich, I was like, okay. I'm like that because you would think this would be a capsule.
Exactly. Yeah, because rhodiola is not a good tasting ingredient at all, and I used a bulk powder of it every day, and I'm just used to how horrible it tastes, and I just throw it back because I don't feel like capping it, and it's cheaper to just buy the bulk myself.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm very curious to see how they pulled off this flavoring.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick this one up, I think. just because I want to see how those ingredients, because I think this is one of those products. So these ingredients, I've used them separately many times. You know, you see them in different, but I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever used them all together. And if I did, they were with 30 other ingredients.
Hmm.
So I want to see how this comes together. So I like what they do over there. They're a solid group, and I'll probably pick this up.
Yeah. Do you find it interesting that they didn't include any kind of ashwagandha in there? Because that's like I think at the top of the totem pole of anti-cortisol supplements.
Well, I think I've always said, I was like, I really want to. I'm surprised I don't see more rhodiola in that same vein,
Yeah.
but I kind of like it. You know why I kind of like it is because everything has ashwagandha in it, and it's kind of nice to see something that doesn't have ashwagandha in it. Because sometimes I look at my routine, like my supplement routine for the day, I'm like, okay, so cool. I'm gonna have 6 grams of KSM today. Awesome. You know, so I kind of like it. I've always, you know, I
Yeah.
like to see, right? Because you think that first thing, okay, ashwagandha.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Okay.
Interesting though. You have
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah. That's that. Or there's no theanine or KSM. I found that very interesting
Thank,
with the formula. But
which is so refreshing. I'm like, just,
yeah.
everything's got KSM and theanine in it,
Yep.
and it's just, please let's do something different. So not that it's bad, right? It's, you know,
Right.
those are good. Those are good things, and that's why everyone uses like putting citrulline in a
Yeah.
pre-workout. It's like, well, it's in there because it works.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's better than everybody jumping on the S7 bandwagon. There.
You just can't help yourself. Man, that poor S7, man, just minding his own business, showing up in the bottom of everyone's formulas, and Robert just will not let it go. Speaking of, so did you get to the top of page 2?
I was debating whether I even wanted to entertain that or not because I referenced my comment 3 minutes ago where I said, let's see if it's around in 6 months and see. But if it interests you and you think it's worth discussing, we can.
Uh, yeah, it's up to you.
No, I mean this
I
is you're an equal partner in this podcast, my friend. So if you have some interesting thoughts in it, I'm all ears.
so yeah, so Olympus Labs returns as a completely separate brand to Olympus Lifestyle, and it right, no secret, we both I like those guys over there. I've always liked their formulas. This Olympus Labs lineup that they have here, it shows Amnesia Massacre, Kingslayer, Epilogue, Testify, all really cool formulas. Um, Man, I just don't know. I've I've never seen a brand they rebranded but then didn't release, and then they rebranded again and then released, and then now they're kind of rebranding back to their old brand. I
Right. Or
I
they're
don't I've
trying to
never
run two separate brands. I don't understand what in the world they're doing.
I
And
don't know if it's a I don't know. This will probably get me in some trouble here for insinuating this, but I am not a believer in bodybuilding.com. I do not, you know, we've had this rush where all these brands are jumping on board there.
yeah.
I think I think it's total fool's gold. I think that it's a house of cards, and I would guess that I would want to cover, if I was going to jump on bodybuilding.com's website and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I would want to have my ass covered with my own brand away
Yeah.
from that.
Right.
So that'll probably piss some people off, but I wouldn't. Bodybuilding.com has just not been relevant in any way, shape, or form, and not been making any money. If you know anything about financials and stuff like that, where are they getting the money for this?
Right.
Like, so I was always hesitant to be like, are these brands really going to go full bore with bodybuilding.com? I never believed it was really going to happen. So when you see stuff like this, it's kind of like, well,
Yeah, and then also just wonder if this is a reactionary thing to the negative press that the lifestyle rebrand got. Whether you're saying that they're riffing on somebody else's label designs, or you don't like just the way they're positioning the brand, or whatever reason. is this a reaction that, did the guys at Olympus think maybe, oops, our rebrand wasn't as intended, so let's go back to what we're doing this. But now you're faced with running two different companies, and for a group of guys that have had difficulties releasing things when they say they're going to release them, is adding another brand under this umbrella a smart thing to do business wise?
Yeah, I guess we maybe they just, they know best. We're just speculating. I haven't talked to them in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's felt to me, and they know this too. Like, I'm friends with those guys. Like I said, I haven't talked to them in a while, but they've been always, super supportive of me. And but it's felt confused for me for a long time. And so when I see stuff like this, I'm just like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
And because I get questions about it immediately. People are like, what is going on with Olympus? And what's going on with... I'm like, I don't freaking know. I was like, I don't know if they know. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's my issue. It seems like we've got mixed branding and mixed messaging coming out, and it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me, but that's just one person's opinion.
And it is true too that they are aggressive. They make moves when they think it's time to make moves, and I think a lot of brands in general they struggle with their identity because they're a little bit... Olympus has always been ahead of the curve with their formulas, but when it comes to branding, if you're a little bit behind and you're not really sticking to really who you are, and you're trying to keep up with branding trends in the industry, especially, it changes. So the brands we've seen that been successful lately, like Take Inspired was Stack's brand of the year. It's like Chris really hit on something this year when I think he just stopped and he was like, let me just focus on what I'm about, and when the CEO, when that filters down to your products and then your consumers, it just makes more sense.
Correct.
So when we see people, and not saying, talking about Olympus, I have to put that out there, but like, we've seen a lot of people, they look at what Ghost does and they go, man, I want to be like that. Well, if that's not you, then it falls flat.
It's inauthentic, yeah.
Right. Whereas when Ghost does it, people are like, hell yeah, because that's what Ghost is doing, what they want to do.
Yeah.
We were talking, Brady and I were actually discussing this the other day, and I made a comment. I said, when I see one problem I see in the supplement industry is we talk to a lot of small brands, and they look at the Redcons and Ghost and stuff like that as like the mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it that way. I think they should be the floor of what you're gunning for, and maybe not like a massive operation, but if that's your cap, then what room is there for you to do anything?
Yeah.
I think I see a lot of brands come in there like, well, I want to make a cool formula, and then sort of like whatever happens. We'll get some sponsored athletes. We'll send to some reviewers, and then you wonder why you can't, because you're not doing anything that hasn't been done 1,000 times already by brands that now have way more money than you, and there's no room for you to grow. So I see brands that are like, okay, yeah, I want to be like that, but then that means you're never going to get above that. So I think there's a lot of confusion with branding, and a lot of it might too be is a lot of young people that just really don't know. It's a lot of young entrepreneurs in the space, and you're sort of feeling your way out, and it's not the kind of business you want to sort of feel your way through.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I'd agree. Moving on to, speaking of rebrands, Core Nutritionals unveiled their new label design along with their upgraded Fury pre-workout. So what are your thoughts on the label design and the new 2020 formula?
Yeah, so this is the one I got to try. I think we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So what I'm really curious to see is if you look at their social media page, when they show the labels, it's got a lot of like really cool like texture and stuff like that the pictures don't really seem to do it justice, because like the rebrand is they're going from the black to the white, the brighter, which is good. It's more attention grabbing. Mm-hmm. But when you looked, I think when I was watching their Instagram stories, you could see like, so I'm curious because I want to say I should have a tub of it here, hopefully in the next like day or two. so I get to try it.
Sweet.
Because I tried samples of it last time, and you know how samples can go. Sometimes
Yeah.
I loved the pre-workout. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But, then all of a sudden you get to the full run of it. Is it going to hold up? So we'll see.
Right. Gotcha.
But I like it, man. I like what they do. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, for the listeners at home that haven't seen the label yet, it's 6 grams of citrulline, so it's a 40-20 serving, as most products are these days. We've got 6 grams of L-citrulline, 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, 2,500 milligrams or 2.5 grams of betaine, 2 grams of glycersize, which is glycer pump, 2 grams of L-tyrosine, 375 of caffeine anhydrous, 254 of vasodrive AP, 250 of CDP choline, 100 of halostashine, 20 milligrams of huperzine, serrata extract, standardized to 1%, so that's going to give you 200 micrograms of huperzine A, and then 10 milligrams of pregnenolone. Now that and the halostashine are the two, not oddballs, but the things that really stand out in this formula. So have you had any experience with pregnenolone? Did you notice anything exceptional from it in the limited samples that you got to try?
Right. So I brought this up on the Supplement Snoop group because Tim from Natural Body Inc., I heard him, it was maybe like a year and a half or 2 years ago by now, he started talking about he would add that to his intra workout. He's a CrossFitter, but he's done all lifting disciplines in his life, and he mentioned how he uses it in his intra workout. And when you do some of the research on it about like, it's a precursor to some hormones and things, but it also seems to have some, more acute benefits where like anti-fatigue and some like mental focus. And the halostashine, that one is one that I think it was Mileblocks was using it a lot, but then like nobody used it. And I don't know if it was, because it's like a PEA like derivative. I don't know if people were worried that it was going to be banned and then it never, because now you're seeing it come back. Glaxon's been using it. They've been using it. So all I can say is from using this product, the energy was awesome and the focus was off the charts. But I don't know if the focus was so great, sort of like I mentioned about Assassin, like, when the pumps on this thing were super intense and the energy was really good. So, if you had that, your focus can just sort of be focused. Like you're not focused because of anything in here. You're just focused because you're having a good workout. So, but whatever it was, man, the whole combination, I used it twice, didn't use it with anything else. And it was great. Like I had 2 great workouts with it.
Awesome. I'm excited to see its release, and I'm going to have to go and procure a tub and see.
I did say they asked me if I knew of anybody that was good with this stuff, and I did name drop you. So
well, there we go. Good with explaining things you're talking about, or what do you mean? Just understanding how formulas work?
To try this product out.
Yeah, we shall see if they. I'd like to get Doug and Kenton on the show. It just depends. I know they are super busy. I doubt that'll actually happen, but we'll see.
Ken, what a beauty that guy is, man.
Yeah, we shall
see. Doug is too. I think Doug's a cool guy. Met him a couple times. Super nice guy. Kenton's just one of those guys. Like, I don't know, man. I could listen to him talk about anything. He's just he's funny. He's got that sense of humor. It's like obviously super smart. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And another thing too about this is they're one of those brands. I mentioned this because everybody's been asking me about this product. They are one of those brands. Testing is so huge in this industry. That's why you're seeing Glaxon be successful with a lot of things they're doing. Inspired is another one. These guys put these formulas through the paces. They don't just go, well, and then because a lot of small brands, it's like you put stuff on paper, but you don't have time, you don't have the money to sample, tinker. Like these guys, they put it through the paces. So they're not going to release anything that, because I've seen some people nitpick this formula already and be like, oh, but they're
how could they be nitpick? What are the nitpicks that you're hearing about? Because it seems like a very, very robust formula that's kind of hitting on all cylinders as far as all the different blood flow pathways and whatnot, and performance and focus.
Right. This is probably like the morphogen effect. When you get someone like Ben that just drops bombs on people, and
Yeah.
then it's become, the arms race to as much dosages of and that's what I was saying about this. Like,
Yeah.
it was a huge formula. Like,
Yeah.
it's a massively dosed formula. So, yeah, you know how people are. They're like, oh, I was just like underwhelmed. I don't know if they were expecting the reinvention of the wheel kind of thing, but it's
Mm.
like, sometimes if you take a good, smart group of people with good resources, good manufacturing practices,
Yeah.
good testing procedure, the willingness to tinker and test, I think this is why you get products that, like I said, man, it was there. I didn't have like a ton of energy, like right off the bat. What you felt
Mhm.
is just that nice, just smooth, progressive, feel good energy all the way throughout. And the
Yeah.
pumps of this thing were off the charts for me both times. I was
Yeah,
like,
I would
I was
expect
just,
it to be that way with the citrulline, vasodrive, betaine, glycerol, all of those. I mean, it's all complementary in there. So
yep, yeah. And so when I think about the halostashine, because of my experiences with Glaxon and
mhm.
then this one, I'm like, man, this I like this ingredient, but I've never like used it by itself.
Yeah, the only time I can remember, was it ever in any Blackstone versions of their pre-workouts? I thought maybe a couple of years ago it had it in there. I know Muscle Sports Rhino, an old version of Rhino, had it.
Hmm.
But that one we're talking like 2016, 2015 maybe.
Yeah, that
So
sounds about right. I think that, like I said, the only things I've seen it in recently were, I want to say it was showed up in some skywalks,
yeah,
one of their 40,000 iterations of their what they do over there
yeah,
that I can't keep up with, but that was about the only time I think is recently was mile block stuff.
gotcha. Have we ever discussed SpitFire Labs on the podcast? I think we may have mentioned them just as a cursory note one time on a podcast, but they released a pump pre-workout, and typically a lot of their stuff so thus far has been capsule based, but now we've got a powder formula that they're releasing. I think they might only be exclusive to A1, as I realize. I don't think they're sold much anywhere else outside of their own site, maybe. But I don't believe that they're a house brand to A1 because A1's got its own house line of basic products. But this is actually a decent formula. I mean, if you're looking for like a no nonsense kind of pump formula, and I was just doing I had a consult the other day with a guy that was looking for. So he was running a regular pre workout. He's using Granite Supplements Premium, and he's saying, all right, well, glycerol gives me issues. Anything that's got glycerin or glycerol in it, so that means Hydromax, Glycersize, Glycerpump, glycerol monosterate, even alpha GPC. Those all have glycerin in them, and so he's got some kind of sensitivity to it. And he's saying, look,
Go figure.
I need a non-stim or a stim or a very low stim pre-workout to use on my other days. And so we were going through, during the course of our call, we were trying to discuss a few options for him as far as no stim stuff. Um, and so this obviously hadn't come out when we had the call, but this is another one that I could easily kick his way and recommend to
Hmm.
him because it's 8 grams of citrulline malate, 2 grams of betaine, 1 gram of agmatine, 1 gram of taurine, 150 milligrams of pine bark extract, 100 milligrams of epimedium, which is going to be standardized hopefully for icarin, and then 10 milligrams of vanadil sulfate, which is going to give you some vanadium.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. That looks pretty good.
Yeah. I like the names of the flavors. I don't know what the hell these taste like, but it's Nuclear Winter and Unicorn Guts.
Unicorn guts. Kind of
Nuclear
like
Winter
that.
looks like Bomb Pop,
Yeah,
based on the cover graphic. I'm not sure what the hell Nuclear or Unicorn Guts is. Maybe some kind of like Skittles flavor or something,
their
or
their
sherbet.
other they have a pump pill. It's got S7 in
Why would you say that?
it. Yeah, dude, I kind of like this. They got a cool label, um, cool formula. That's going to give you some good pumps. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, especially if that's for a carry-in.
Hmm.
Um, by the way, so I don't want to give too many spoilers out there, but we haven't eco stroked, Morphogen Ben enough today. But he's got he's been showing me a couple formulas that he's working on. He's got a pump pill formula
Yeah.
that I responded to him. I was like, "You made fucking typos when you sent me these dosages because you're off your ass." Um, this pump pill formula that he got coming is laughable. I was like, first of all, I know what ingredients cost
Yeah.
in some cases, and I'm like, are you? I'm like, so if you ever, like I said, I see a lot of people they look up to like his brand and stuff like that. I'm like,
Hmm.
well, if you guys want to make money in this industry, like, don't do what he does.
Yeah.
You can't do you can't do what he does. You see a pump pill formula like what he's about to drop, and you're like, I'm like, Ben, do you
Yeah.
want to make any money?
I mean, he's got the marketplace and he's got a loyal consumer base that's willing to
Sure does.
go above and beyond to try it. So,
Anyway, like I said, when he shows, because I'm sure he'll show you the formula. There's one particular dose that sort of leads it off that you're going to be like, no, there's too many zeros
I'm trying to think. I'm going to
on
pull
that.
up my messages. I don't talk to Ben as regularly as you do, but the last time we did correspond, he sent me a shit ton of information. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I'm not going to give away the ingredients, but I'm very curious to see what in the hell.
I'll text you.
Here we go.
I just sent over you one of the several ingredients.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I've never seen anything like that.
No, that's.
And that is an expensive ass ingredient. Let me
Oh
tell you.
yeah, here it is. Yeah, the capsules of Morpho Pump. I've got the whole formula right here. Oh my god.
Well, he did have to because he had to change. He had to change something in there.
Yeah.
Um, a whole nother story. He had to change. You can imagine probably
Oh
what
yeah,
had
I
to be
can.
changed.
Yeah, because there's an asterisk that says pending phone call. I'm not gonna say what it is, but yeah,
Yeah. He can tell you that story. It's pretty entertaining.
yeah, that's
Needless to say, he was like, "Okay,
yeah,
fuck it.
exactly, yeah,
Let me just go big air on everything."
yeah. I
So,
don't, yeah, people that do that, it's yeah, not cool, not cool.
so
So
anyway, there you go, Ben. Love you, buddy. What? There was something else in here. It was cool that Assassin made stacked.
yeah, that's working their way up in the world. That Apollon's getting some recognition on there.
You're gonna see some Supplement Snoop stuff on here pretty soon.
I mean, if you keep getting in the spotlight over there at Compound Solutions, man, they have no choice but to feature you on Stack 3D.
I'm telling you. I love me some Shane though. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I saw something. Damn it. It wasn't Core because Core has an intra coming that sounded pretty cool.
Oh, thank God, there's another glutamine supplement on the market. PVL Gold Series.
Oh yeah, there was one I wanted to talk about because this James, he's from Impel Nutrition.
Yeah.
James recently joined the Supplement Snoop group, and I've gotten to know him pretty well. He is super intense into quality and third-party testing, and he's very passionate. He's one of these, these young brand owners that's like, I want everyone to know everything about
Yeah.
all my stuff, right? So, which is really hard for a small brand because that stuff is expensive, like the
Correct.
testing. So he came up with it's a caffeine-free thermogenic because he actually got into this whole thing about what constitutes a stimulant.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you see certain ingredients, do you consider those stimulants? Some things don't necessarily do anything to your CNS or blood pressure, yeah,
Right.
but can be stimulatory. So we got to sort of had a whole thing about that. But it was called Chiseled.
Yeah, I just pulled up the label. So for the peoples at home, 600 milligrams of ashwagandha root, standardized to 2.5 with analytes, which it's not listed as KSM on here, but that's the standardization of KSM.
Yep.
500 milligrams of L-Carnitine, 300 milligrams of dandelion root, which is going to have a diuretic effect and give you back some potassium for what you're excreting. 250 of 20% forskolin extract, 100 milligrams of alpha lipoic acid, 100 milligrams of Capsumax, 50 milligrams of estrogen, 50 milligrams of paradoxine, 50 milligrams of theobromine, 5 milligrams of black pepper extract, 3 milligrams of Rowalskine, standardized to 90% alpha-yohimbine, so we're looking at 2.7 there milligrams, and then 250 micrograms of the 3,5-diiodo L-thyronine, which is the T2 metabolite of thyroid hormone.
So we always get into these conversations about, okay, so if it's going to be, right, if fat burners if they don't burn fat, but they're meant to increase energy or whatever, like how do you come up with a good non-stimulant fat burner that's not making you jump up and go do extra work at the gym or something like that? But you can see how this one's very, I like ALA being in there. ALA is a good, I think, maintenance nootropic, like a general maintenance.
Yeah, it's good for antioxidant benefits and scavenging free radicals and oxidative stress in the brain. So yeah, it's a good brain health supplement. Yeah, like you said.
And then you have a lot of things for mood and sort of hormone support. I think that's where you're going to see these types of products be successful. Is if you're in a dieting phase, you need alpha-yohimbine is always a good one. I like alpha-yohimbine, but and there is a little bit of tinkering with the fuel substrates maybe during your workouts and stuff like that. But you got to keep yourself adhered to the diet. So if you can do that, and what's good, it's difficult, but what's good about non-stim is when you get in that dieting phase and people are struggling with energy, and you're just using too many stims, your cortisol is probably already going to be raised, you're going to be having issues. So then you're like just stimming yourself up to keep yourself going, and you're it's stunting your appetite and stuff like that. Whereas you see stuff like this, it's constantly used wrong because people are just like, oh, I can just take this and just go about my business the same way I normally would.
Yeah.
But if you see sort of how you can get yourself in a tough position being in a caloric deficit, where you see these ingredients can be used to sort of keep you going, keep you on track, keep you balanced out, keep you motivated.
Yeah.
That's where you kind of see these products, I think, being effective.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that if you look at their dosing directions, usually with all the stim-free burners or the stim-based burners too, they just say take 3 caps upon waking in the morning, or 30 minutes before your first meal or something like that. Let's say this one, they actually say, you can take them all at once, or you can break them out, 1 in the morning, 1 at lunch, 1 in the PM. And that's what I wonder with certain ingredients like that. So the ones that have a very pronounced thermogenic effect, things like paradoxine, GBB, do these have an additive effect? I guess it boils down to the half-life and how quickly they're metabolized and excreted by the body, to where do you need to take the full clinical dose all in one go, or can you stagger it out throughout the day to where you've always got just a little bit in your system?
Yeah, it's a good question. I kind of like the staggered out because I think a lot of this stuff, right, I guess it depends on dosages, but I kind of like the keeping your, I think a lot of good ones that I've seen are like, okay, take half in the morning and half in the evening kind of thing to sort of keep your metabolism, keep yourself balanced out, because you're going to, especially you have so many fluctuations throughout the day of your hormone levels and just you in general. I think that it's a good question. I like that. I kind of like maybe because I prefer to have a more balanced, say approach throughout the day, except when I full scoop assassin.
And the other reason I would be weary of maybe full serving this thing right in the morning is that taking 600 milligrams of ashwagandha right after you wake up, I mean, that's when you want cortisol high. It's to get your ass up and get moving in the morning to go get shit done. If you take that big of a dose, I mean, you might feel very flat and not motivated to want to really do anything. So I think that's where maybe the staggered dosing would benefit you. Otherwise, I would wait till like lunchtime to take this or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't noticed a really locked down answer to that. I think it's just something that probably is a better practice to use until it's the same thing like we talked about with caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm so much better when I just wait
Right.
a few hours after, because if I can use 2 scoops of hooligan as soon as I wake up, I ain't gonna do shit because it's just like bouncing off of nothing at that point. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I like waiting a little bit. There's a lot of people I know that do some really aggressive things as soon as they wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
I kind of, I think I've changed this as I've gotten older. I'm like, I
Yeah.
kind of like to let myself get up,
Right.
so
Right.
and try and,
Yeah.
and try to naturally get myself going as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Right.
I mean, that's a crazy approach, right? But
Yeah.
um, I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Pulled up the label on Impel's pre-workout GSD. What is?
I don't know what that stands for.
That's what I'm wondering. I actually don't know. I'm not exactly sure. But we've got 6 grams of 2,1-citrulline malate, 3 grams of beta-alanine, 3 grams of betaine, 250 of alpha GPC 50%, so 125 yield, 175 of caffeine anhydrous, 75 milligrams of dicaffeine malate, and 300 micrograms of huperzine A. Thoughts?
Yeah, pretty standard stuff, right? I think so. It's 30 servings, which
Mm-hmm.
is good. You don't see a lot of pre-workouts that are 30 servings. Blue raspberry flavor. I gotta talk to them about that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's rough. That's rough.
but you got good dosages of what's in there, and then you got the alpha GPC. It's low, but combined with the huperzine,
Yeah, it's a hefty dose of huperzine. I maybe would like that to be just a little bit lower, just because
that's a
huperzine does have
lot.
a long half life, and you really don't need to go above 200 micrograms from the body of evidence that's been published on the ingredient. So
I like um, I like caffeine anhydrous and dicaffeine malate. I think
very much, yeah,
for most people, um, that's going to give. We talk about theanine and caffeine and stuff like that.
hmm
Sometimes if you just use some caffeine plus a smoother caffeine source, it is calming in its own way.
yeah,
We don't need the calming
right,
ingredients. So
correct.
sometimes I don't. But you know what? We've already been talking for an hour. I'll just leave that alone. We'll just
Uh
move on from the. We'll move on from the. Let's just use a smoother caffeine instead of using fucking theanine. But whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree, and plus there's not many 200 to 225 or 230 milligram caffeine pre-workouts on the market anymore. So this is a good offering in that caffeine level, because most of the bigger company stuff pre-workouts are 300, 350, 375, 400, in that ballpark. Very few are
True.
sub 250 these days.
Well, alpha GPC is a super expensive ingredient,
Yep.
and it's $40 for 30 servings.
Yeah.
Um, that's the kind of things you can do, when you're a small company. Um, but whether that's good for you long term, I don't know.
Right.
But you have a couple. Citrulline malate's not a cheap ingredient, so when you have those dosages, looks good, right? There's nothing we haven't seen, lots of times. But
Yeah.
for $40 for 30 servings, doesn't
Yeah, it's a
mean it
good
would
deal
be.
and worth checking
Doesn't,
out if you want a lower stemmed option as well.
and I can definitely vouch for the guy that runs it. That guy is relentless, relentless about trying to give his customers as much information as possible about quality and things like that. So he's really does his homework.
Cool. All right, man. Well, we've hit the hour mark, and I think I've combed through 6 pages of stack stuff, and it's either functional foods or stuff that's not really worth discussing. So it's a light week this week.
Yeah, man.
So
Hopefully by next week we'll have some Supplement Snoop stuff up here.
there we go. All right, my friend. Well, then have a good weekend as always, and we'll be in touch. I'm sure 5 minutes after this ends, something will come across stack that'll get me in a tizzy, and we'll be in communication.
Yeah, did you do your podcast with John?
Yeah, him and I did that right before I hopped on the call with you. So he's got some fun new things in the works. His protein, they're getting a new flavor, getting ready to release in the next couple of weeks. They are tweaking their pre-workout formula. And they are just released a new flavor of their intracarb supplement. So yeah, lots of good things.
Yeah,
And John's awesome.
good.
He's a really nice guy, a super smart guy. So yeah,
Yeah, I think he's gonna hook me up with some protein, which is
sweet.
cool. Cause but I always say this about John whenever somebody asks me about him, because I don't know John personally. We just
Yeah,
chatted a few times, and um, when you get into the industry, no one is off limits. Everyone, someone will talk shit about literally everyone. Like, doesn't matter
yeah,
what you do. And I have yet to ever hear somebody say a negative word about that guy, which that is an accomplishment in and of itself. If you can run a
yeah,
successful company and also a training, like, and you also do training, because
yeah.
there's nobody says more stupid shit than people that are critiquing training programs and stuff like that. And you get all the
Correct.
experts come out, right? So
Yeah,
I think that's a really good testament to he must be a hell of a guy, because no one says a bad word about him,
yeah, yeah.
which is, you don't see that.
No, it's a rarity. John is an exceptional guy and a really nice guy.
Good
And
stuff. I'm looking forward to listening to that.
excellent. Well, then that will debut Tuesday, so a few days after this episode airs. And I'm going to do a shameless self plug at this end right here. So Justin and I have talked about Dynamite a few times on the podcast, and we haven't really seen it. Prady over at Azoth is getting ready to release a supplement that has Dynamite in it. And I did the digging and wrote an entire extensive multi-thousand word guide to Dynamite on the Supplement Engineer website. So if you're curious about
Yep.
how the ingredient works, go check it out, because it seems cool. It works different than teacrine and dynamine, and it might be better than the teacrine dynamine caffeine combo. So
Yeah, man, how are you going to self promote on your own podcast?
I know I don't do it very much. I'm terrible at doing it, but with
Yeah,
something
because
that's
we
cool, I think it's a good idea too for everybody to go check it out, just because we'll see it start popping up soon enough.
yeah, because I think Brady's product is going to be available pretty soon. He went with he's sort of deconstructing, when it comes to as it has gone through, I don't know, man, what 100 changes because of Amazon and
Yeah,
their freaky rules and him trying to stay ahead of the game. And he's like, you know what, man. So he's got a plan, I think, for a couple of smaller formulas that are more user friendly and can sort of be used together,
yeah,
kind of a thing. And I think that Dynamite product is going to be pretty interesting. I think people will. I don't know, but reading your article, man, it's got me real fired up for it, because that to call that an article is, I mean, that was like a doctrine. That was
the
a
I
thesis.
think the final word count was 5,343 words, 33
Oh,
words,
bless
something
your
like
heart.
that. So yeah, I mean
Bless your
that's
heart, man.
yeah, it was a labor of love. I've been wanting to dig into the ingredient, and so I finally just said, let's do it.
Cool.
So
Well, yeah, good stuff, man. I'll definitely read it. I know that's a lot. So I'm
yeah,
ready, man.
awesome, buddy. Well then, have a good week, and we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, bye.